All right, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on when you're watching this, to all of you enrolled in Social Media Case Studies, MCM 352. This is Professor Stepp. So we just got done with our case study over the Popeyes chicken sandwich, and you should have had some time to look over that. Now I want to talk a little bit about graphic design. Some of you know that my part-time job is actually doing graphic design for a staffing agency called Cornerstone Staffing. And if you want to just look at some of the examples of stuff I've done, I'll just kind of scroll through their webpage with some of the stuff I did this particular weekend. One thing that I think you'll notice is that all of the text that you see in these images is in red and black font. That is because that's their company colors, that's the logo they use, and so in order to be consistent with branding, I always make sure that there is red and black in these images. So let's go and look at some of Popeye's social media. So you'll notice that Popeye's, and I'll scroll up so you can see their logo, is an orange and white logo for the most part. There's this drop shadow in the back that's a little bit of a dark red. But if you were to actually create some of the graphic design for Popeyes, you would want to have orange and white in most of your images. Even this world's greatest dad mug, you'll notice, is their company colors. And so that's one thing to focus on. I'll kind of tell you a couple of other things you might want to focus on with your designs as we go through this. But real quick, so for the sake of time, I've already downloaded the images we're going to use, but if you want to go and use Google Images, you can. Just keep in mind that you want to make sure that everything you're using is copyright free. And the easiest way to do that, you see below the search bar, you have this Tools button. And below there, you have size, color, reuse, type, time, and clear. And under this reuse tab, you can look through not filtered by license, labeled for reuse with modification, labeled for reuse, labeled for non-commercial reuse. Basically, all this stuff means is that the types of licenses these have been uploaded with, you can either reuse it with no worries, you can reuse it as long as you're not using it for commercial purposes, or you can reuse it as long as you modify it. To keep things simple, I just went with labeled for reuse. So nobody really cares if we grab this stuff. This is the image I grabbed of a chicken sandwich. So we'll just go ahead and go into Photoshop. This is kind of what we're aiming for here. This, if you see what's highlighted kind of in the top left corner, it's back are you, Popeyes. I'll just kind of show you how that gets created. So File, Open. And I'm just going to open the image of the chicken sandwich with the black background. The reason being, white and orange are going to show up really well on this background. And so that's one consideration when you're doing some of the social media graphic design stuff, is what does your background look like, and do my company's colors look good on that background? Do they show up clearly? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm also going to just go ahead and file open the logo. So the Popeyes logo that we downloaded, and this was, in fact, labeled for reuse, believe it or not. I'm going to grab my Move tool, and I'm just going to move this Popeyes logo. Oop, there we go. I'm just going to click and drag into this tab with the chicken sandwich in it. I'll go ahead and make this Popeyes logo a little bit smaller by clicking and dragging the handles. Then we're just going to add some text. So I'll just say, it's back, are you? And we obviously want that to be a little bit smaller, so I'll go ahead and highlight all of this. Here in the top, you can choose a bit of a smaller font size, so that works. It's back, are you? So now I'm on the text tool, and keep in mind that I'm on the layer with text in it. I'm going to grab my Move tool, just kind of bring this over here. And this is even a little bit too small, so we'll go ahead and enlarge this. And I think that's pretty good. And voila, we have our Popeyes chicken sandwich advertisement.